So this is my friend Sarah, and she is gonna do a best friend tag with me. So we're gonna ask each other random questions, and you guys can get to know us a little better. So, okay, do you have like a phobia?
Oh, spiders. I hate spiders.
I do hate spiders.
I don't know what those ones that we get that have like that hard back, that diamond back, that it's like, I don't even know. And my brother and I were outside on the deck in my house, and we were having a smoke, and we were just, like, it was raining, so we were just underneath, like, the eave or whatever you call it. Yeah. Or the little
thing. The hanging thing.
The little lip of the roof of the house.
Yeah.
And that's the technical name. Google it. And he turned around to go inside, and just as he turned around to go inside, I saw a shadow drop behind him, and we didn't have the light on the deck. And I just panicked, and I like ran, and as I was running into the house, I glanced down, and it was like chilling out, like it was like on for the ride, like
it made a shadow.
It dropped. I don't know about shadow, but it dropped because it was, we didn't have the light on.
No, there was no shadow, but okay.
It casted a shadow. This thing was huge. Okay,
no light. I'm scared of pinchers, which if you don't live where I live, they are like, I guess, like a spruce beetle or whatever. They're disgusting. They are like, they look like a freaking cockroach with antennas, and like they're like scary.
They're gross.
Yeah. So I had a mouse infestation when my cat died in my shed, not my house, but it was out of control. So I went to the Orkin man from Kelowna, had him come up here, especially for me. And so anyways, the Orkin man comes over, and, you know, you just think, like, the Orkin man, I mean, of course he's gonna, like, kill everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we go around to the side of the house, and I'm kind of showing him, like, what's going on, and I'm scared for my life. And I'm talking, and all of a sudden a pincher comes, and it flies into my mouth while I'm talking to him.
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding. I think it cast a shadow as well when it happened.
They always
do. It flew into my mouth. It was like half in, half out or whatever. So I started going crazy, like losing my shit and flailing around or whatever, a big episode. And I look up, and that fucking asshole, who's like obviously not scared of insects, took off around my house, like completely left me there to fend for myself. So
fight or flight, which one he'd choose.
Well, I was pissed, but
he's still single.
I never paid the bill. Never did.
Yeah.
No. So, do you have like a most embarrassing moment?
Oh.
You don't get embarrassed that easy.
No.
Want to hear mine first?
Yeah, you tell me yours.
Okay, so maybe it might not sound as funny, but it was hilarious. So I was living in an apartment in Abbotsford, going to school, and I had signed a contract for my apartment, and it wasn't ready by the time I moved down there, so they had to let me move in while it was still under construction. So I was the only one living in the whole apartment complex, which is scary. Yeah. And there was workers coming and going all the time. So
like I've seen that Dateline.
Right? It was, yeah. No, it was crazy. I went to go walk into the apartment and through the front, and they were laying that like tar, whatever it's called, I don't know. And so I was like looking at all the construction workers and whatever, and they like wouldn't make eye contact with me. So I just figure like obviously like it's dry enough that I can walk in. They know I live here, right?
Oh no.
So, right, okay, no, I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
So I braved it in my sandals, and I got probably like, I'm not kidding, like 3 steps in, and every step I took I was like, oh fuck, here. Oh, it was like, it was bad. Oh and so, God. I'm not kidding. 3 steps in, so now I'm in the middle, I have nowhere to go, and I'm like stuck. Like I can't, I'm not kidding, can't move. So I look around, and I'm like asking my friend for help, and she's killing herself laughing. I was so embarrassed, I wanted to die. So nobody would come over and help me. And this old man that was working comes over, and like they're trying to throw pieces of wood. Like I just think like, what's that gonna do? Right? Like I'm stuck. Yeah, they're trying, right? So anyways, and I'm like not leaving my shoes behind. I'm not like, I'm right. So this old man like goes across the plank and comes over and like bends over and is like jump on my back. Yeah, right? So I didn't need 2 embarrassing things to happen, right? And like I just thought like couldn't one of the younger guys come over? Like you know? So right? I mean
but he's probably seen it before. He's like, not this again. This is how we'll get through it.
I was so embarrassed. So
fuck the wood.
So don't ever walk across tar. Okay, least favorite job. And I finally got this really good job at this company. I'm not gonna specify, but it was like a really wealthy company. So I get this job as a receptionist a couple days a week, do really good, make lots of money. And then they asked me if I wanted to apply for a promotion. They thought I was like, you know, a good fit. And I kept saying, no, like I don't have any training. I don't want to do it. It's too scary. And they kept pushing me or whatever. Anyways, I go to work one day and all the girls that I hate were like laughing and kind of like sticking together. And I'm like, hey, what the hell's going on? So I go to my desk and I see one of the girls walk by with a box of garbage bags. And I noticed some of the people weren't at their desk where they always were. So I knew something was up. And so the boss comes up to me and he's like, hey, can I talk to you for a sec? I'm like, yeah. So he takes me into his office that has like a big window that everyone can see and tells me I'm being let go because it's like, I'm not the right fit. So I like saw this in the movies, but never was expecting it. He gives me a garbage bag and tells me I have like to clear my desk and then when I'm done to go see him and he was gonna escort me out stuff and I was like, no, don't worry about it, like it's fine. And he's like, no, I have to, it's company policy. So he walks me through the building of everybody with this fucking garbage bag of all my stuff.
Oh my God.
Right? Okay. I was so embarrassed and like obviously everybody knew because they're all like watching and nobody would say hi or anyways. So I see all the bitches when I'm walking out and they're all smiling. So I go to get into my vehicle and you know how when people park, like it was an Escalade, so it was like big. And so when people in the city, when their parking spaces are so close together and there's no room to like back up and like, you know, like turn, I guess, to back out. So the two people that I hated the most were parked so tight beside me I could barely get in my vehicle. So now there's a fence in front of me and no way for me to like back out. Like I'd hit the building. I like pension.
Called about that bitch towed.
No. Oh. I fucking smashed that car.
Good for you.
I did. I cranked that wheel and I fucking smashed that car. So, what's your worst date story?
I honestly haven't been on like too many dates, but I did try Plenty of Fish one time and was talking to this guy for a couple days and he convinced me to like go over and meet him and so I like showing me his hotel room because that's where he was staying at this time. He wasn't. Anyways, so, you know, he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, I haven't been in this hotel before, like, oh, it's nice in here, and, you know, kind of doing the small talk thing, and then he had the kind where you have, like, the living room and the kitchen, and then, like, the bedroom, and so the bedroom door, like, walked by it, and I was like, oh, it's actually a pretty big room for, you know, an apartment, and it was like, boom, and I was like, I'm, like, going through the air and being, like, carried, I'm, like, thrown on the bed, and he's, like, up on top of me, he's, like, he's literally holding my face. He's like holding my face, trying to like make out. And I'm like, oh, this is so, you know, I don't kiss on the, oh, sorry, I'm shy. Oh, I'm really like struggling here. Okay. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, this is how it happens. Like, this is how it happens. Oh my God, I need to get out of here. Over. Right. I got away from him. I didn't want him to feel awkward, but I also felt awkward. I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I like, oh, you're so funny. And somehow like got out of there and like scurried to the door. I'm like, anyway, he's gotta go to work. And I'm like putting my work boots and he was standing in the doorway of the bedroom like this and he's like, you come back now, you hear? Oh my God. And I was like, you betcha. Never answered a call again. Blocked that number. Never saw him again. Yeah. Like,
that's a good one. I can't believe you went on Plenty of Fish. Okay, so do you have any like creepy stories?
At 12, I was babysitting for this family and they lived in like an old airport house. And so you had like the middle floor and then you had the top floor that had all the bedrooms and then like the basement was just like the TV rec room. And I put them to bed and I was down in the basement and I could hear them running around on the middle floor and I was like, oh, those little rascals. So I went up to the middle floor and there was like no sounds, nothing, but like every single cupboard was open and like the fridge door was open. And I was like, oh my gosh, these little pranksters. And so I shut everything and just as I shut the refrigerator door, I could hear them like running upstairs. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get them now. So I like was trying to be sneaky too to bust them. And so I like crept up the stairs and I got to the top of the stairs and it's like black, there's nothing. I go to the boys' room and he's like fetal position, like thumb in his mouth. Like, okay. And she was probably like 5 or 6, like, you know, and so she's like starfished, like mouth open, drool, you know, like you have some kind of actress to be able to pull those off. Yeah. I was like, well, that's weird. So I go back down to start watching TV and like again I hear the running and I come upstairs, all the cupboards open again, the fridge, hear the running upstairs, go upstairs, kids haven't moved out of the position, more drool, like snoring's louder from the boy. I'm like, oh my God.
I would be so scared.
I go down to the basement. I hear it all happen again. I do not move. I stay. I'm staying. I am not going upstairs. And so I can hear the running, and then it stops, and then all of a sudden I hear the door to the basement open, because it was one of those, like, doors you could open the top, or, like, you could open the whole thing. And I could hear, like, footsteps coming down to the basement. And I was, like, curled up in the corner, completely frozen, like, solid, like, I probably peed a little, who knows.
For sure.
Definitely. And all of a sudden the dad came around the corner, and I don't know what I had in my hand, but I had, like, a pillow up, and whenever it came, I screamed at the top of my lungs and, like, whipped this toy at him, and it, like, just missed his head. He's like, whoa, what's going on? And anyways, I was like, no, nothing, it's fine. It's a scary show. You should watch those. I was like, hey.
Did you tell him?
Well, and normally, he just lived down the street from my parents, so I would babysat for them every Wednesday because they went curling. And normally I'd just say, like, no, I'll walk home, it's no big deal. But that day I said, like, yeah, can you walk me home? And then he said, something's going on, like, what happened? I was like, you're going to think I'm crazy. And so I finally told him.
I peed in your basement.
Yeah, I may have peed on your couch. So, just that.
Yeah.
Just that. I mean, it's tiny.
Yeah. Have you ever been, like, stalked or, like, creeped on?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. You?
Same apartment in Abbotsford.
Oh, yeah.
The landlord, he was, like, looking after me for my mom, apparently. And his name was Stan, and he drove a metallic blue station wagon, had, like, the fucking porn star serial killer mustache.
No.
Yeah, I swear to God.
We've seen this Dateline,
No,
too.
for sure. This guy was the ultimate creep. And the reason why we picked this apartment building is it had, like, new technology, like, upgraded security. So there was, like, cameras everywhere. So every time, I swear to God, I'd unlock my door to go into my apartment, my phone would ring. It's Stan, just checking up on me. Oh, he was great.
Are you, Kels?
Yeah. So anyways, on this day in particular, I, like, never did drugs or whatever, and my friend left a joint, and I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, I'm going to smoke this joint. Like, I could smell other people's joints. And so I was like, I'm gonna, right? Yeah. And I'm going for it. I'm gonna smoke this. Yeah. And so I think I smoked it in the apartment under the fan. And I, like, was so paranoid. Like, first, you know.
You busted.
I was so scared.
I know it's this apartment.
Yeah. So anyways, I hear, like, knock, knock, knock on my door. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. So I shut off all the lights or whatever. And I run towards the deck to, like, light a smoke to, like, blow it in the apartment. Like, that's gonna.
That's just that.
Yeah. So anyways, so I'm out there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna relight this joint, whatever. So I relight it. And all of a sudden, I hear, and I was on the 3rd floor, and all of a sudden, there's, like, a spotlight shining up, and I hear someone walking through the gravel. It's Stan. So, of course. Oh my God. No, I'm not kidding. So I get down on my stomach, and, like, I'm not moving. Like, I'm tight right up against, like, you know, he can't see me or whatever. So I laid there, I'm not kidding, for probably, like, I was scared for my life, like, 15, 20 minutes. And
like, how old were you?
17.
Oh my God.
I know, right? First I get stuck in the tar, and then this. So I'm, like, laying on my stomach, like, not moving, not breathing or whatever, and 20 minutes probably goes by, like, seriously, and I don't hear any more, like, you know, footsteps. Yeah, I don't hear anything else or whatever, so I go to get up, and as soon as I start opening my apartment or whatever, I hear, like, you know, rustling around, and then I hear, oh fuck, and I see the spotlight kind of flash around or whatever, and so I knew he fell over something, like, he, you know, whatever. And I tell her about it, she's like, oh my God, he's so weird. The next day I see him, he's got his arm in a little sling, swear to God, black eye, and, like, a bandage across his nose.
What happened, Stan?
Right? You believe in psychics?
Yes, definitely. I've seen a couple.
Do you have any psychic stories?
When I was backpacking through Europe, we stayed with a family friend in Ramstein, Germany, and we went to, like, a festival, and there was a palm reader. And so we went into this palm reader, but she only spoke German, so we had to take the son in to, like, translate everything that she was, like, saying. And so all was fine. It was no big deal, except at one point she said something, and he kind of, like, looked at me and, like, looked back at her and then, like, looked at me again, and his face went all red, and I'm assuming she said, like, tell her, because she kind of gestured, and he goes, you're going to have, how you say, uterus problems. And it was, like, silent, like, it was so awkward, but I just burst out laughing, and he kind of laughed, and...
Did it come true?
Yeah, totally did.
Okay, so...
Well, you believe?
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I saw... Yeah, some of them are not good. But I saw a psychic after my grandma passed away, and she seemed, like, legit. She, like, was on TV before and whatever. So I called her up a year later, just randomly, and she went on and on for the whole hour telling me about how shitty the guy I was in a relationship with was to me, and I didn't really think he was, and he was cheating on me and to like hide all the money and like get the passports and all this stuff. So I was so pissed off at her. I told her off and I asked for my money back. Of course she wouldn't give it to me, and seriously within a few months, like every single thing she said came true. So I was in a really good relationship after that, the best one I've ever been in, and I figured like I'm gonna call this lady and see like if this guy's a piece of shit. So I call her back and she tells me like the best stuff, how like, you know, he's the one, we're gonna get married, I'm gonna look beautiful at my wedding, like made me so excited. And 8 days later, he dumped me on the phone. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed getting to know us a little better. I hope you like my friend Connie Happy Sandwich. Follow her on Instagram. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again.